Welcome, beautiful people, and thank you for joining us on Till the Wheels Fall Off, a podcast by Two Faux Couple. I'm Matt.
And I'm Paige.
And we're here to inspire others, to bring you guys into our lives and tell you a little bit about our journey. Over 20 years together, we've learned a few things.
We're going to work toward being the best version of yourself possible. We're going to dig into building a positive mindset, discuss mental health, addiction recovery, improving fitness, building businesses, and insight into what it takes to navigate life today.
Welcome back to another episode of Till the Wheels Fall Off, where today we are talking about your alcohol intake. I think I just scared off most of the people that listen here.
Yeah.
So the holidays right around the corner. I felt like this is a topic that needs to be brought up sooner than later. The holidays for many people become a time of increased alcohol intake. I know for me, this is absolutely the case. And for Paige, I think this is generally the case, right?
Yes.
For a lot of people, it's nothing new. The holidays come around, and for drinking for most people, it's about fun and conviviality and fellowship, and it loosens us up. And the holidays it's no secret, it's a very stressful time. For many people, you're around folks that you don't always spend time with, and probably for a reason, right? Probably for a good reason. The way that the family dynamics tend to work. And I know that with us anyways, that we're kind of forced together because it is the holidays, not necessarily because we always want to be together. And then when we're put in these situations, for a lot of folks, you put a little lube in the system and things just get much easier, you know?
Yeah. But is that the reality of the situation?
Yeah. So we're talking about this because we have an interesting dynamic in our marriage. So I got sober almost 10 years ago. I had a drinking problem and a drug abuse problem. Paige is what we call a normie. She is a normal drinker. She drinks with a sense of responsibility that I could only dream of. And it's created this interesting dynamic in our marriage, but it's also creates these really fun and interesting conversations where we can kind of kick ideas off of each other about, what is a healthy drinking, I guess, routine look like during the holidays, and what's an unhealthy one look like? What are the signs of an unhealthy one? So we're going to get into some of that today. So kicking it off, we're going to start off with how drinking trends have changed in the last 2 to 3 years. Every year, more money is spent on alcohol advertising. There's no secret. You can turn on your TV, you can open up a computer website, and you will find alcohol ads. I mean, Super Bowl, for instance, they spend hundreds of millions of dollars and create usually the best commercials of the Super Bowl, and these are alcohol ads. Alcohol is shoved down our throats at every turn. It's on billboards. It's all over the place. Something that happened in 2020, no secret to anybody, when the COVID pandemic hit, we were forced inside, and statistics are starting to show that alcohol use and abuse has increased much higher than levels ever seen before. We've got more people in treatment centers, and I see that firsthand. I still speak in them 2 to 3 times a month. I go out and I volunteer my time to talk to people who are still in treatment centers, and these things are packed to the gills. And this started about 6 months after the pandemic kicked off. It's gotten absolutely crazy. So we're going to ask people today to question, what does your alcohol intake look like, especially during the holidays? It's kind of tough to do. Something that a lot of people don't want to look at, and I understand why. I totally get it. Something else that's changed is the culture that we live in has made drinking, I would say, beyond acceptable.
Right.
And it's almost like mandatory for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Wine culture blows me away.
Right.
So I would say 8 years ago, I'd go to a treatment center and there'd be a couple of women there. Now when I go, it's split almost down the middle, 50-50. And I've only met one woman in 10 years that was addicted to something other than wine. She was a beer drinker, and there are very few of them, but most of it's wine. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to see why. Okay, first of all, women, stay-at-home moms, this is prevalent mostly with stay-at-home moms, but women have it tough. If you've ever raised little kids, it is not easy. But you can hop on Facebook for an hour and find ads where it's a shirt that says a glass of wine to deal with the wines, or boxed wine is mommy. It's a mommy juice box.
Right.
It's a mommy sippy cup. It's nothing new. Like you can go back in American history and look through the 60s and 70s. Benzos and barbiturates were prescribed in droves to deal with the stress of being a stay-at-home mom and raising children. It is not an easy job. I'm not saying it's like, it's just big deal. Pull up your bootstraps, get over it. No, it's very, very tough. But there has been this movement that wine cures all, and it's just wine. It's not a big deal. But I know women that drink tons and tons of wine, and they've got some serious problems in their lives now. And it's tricky. At what point do we cross the line? But from I'm a normal drinker and I drink when I have a tough day now and then to I've got to drink to get by in life. So we're going to raise some awareness, especially as we move into the holidays, and challenge some people to perhaps pull back on their drinking or just question how much they're drinking as it stands now. And what does that look like for you without alcohol in your life? So there is a spectrum of drinkers. So I fell on the far right or left, doesn't matter, far side of the spectrum where I was an alcoholic drinker. Paige is on I would say the healthy middle to lower half of the spectrum, where you've got people who drink when they feel like it. Then you've got some people who don't drink at all. And you've got this dangerous 3/4 middle line of people who are walking the fence line between alcoholic drinking, problem drinker, and heavy drinker. And what is the difference between those and what does that look like? So what is an alcoholic? I've put it this way. It's very simple. If when you honestly want to stop, you find you can't quit entirely, or if when drinking you have little control over the amount you take, you're probably an alcoholic. So if when drinking you have little control over the amount you take, or if when you honestly want to stop, you find you can't quit entirely, you probably crossed the line. It's put like this in rooms. I've got a friend that says this all the time, that we're all born cucumbers, and at some point our drinking or our drug use will turn us into pickles without us realizing it, and we can't ever go back to being cucumbers again.
Right. And
you'll find out how quickly. So, Paige, you are what I would consider a normal drinker.
I'm a normie.
You're a normie. Absolutely. Right. So you're a normal drinker. Let's talk briefly for a moment just about your drinking history and what that looks like, especially when the kids were younger.
Yeah. So, I guess I'm more of a normie now, but back in the day, I was a pretty heavy drinker because I fell into the whole social pressure of, it's mommy juice. You need to wind down and you've had a bad day. So
Did you say wind down?
Wind down, not wind it down, wine down.
Oh, okay. There's so many funny ass little wine memes. They crack me up.
And I'm an easily manipulated person. So if you're going to sit there and tell me, hey, it's okay, guess what? I'm going to be like, all right, I'm going to do this. So yeah, I would drink probably 4 times a week. Maybe more than that.
Those are amateur numbers. We got to pump those up.
Yeah, but usually when people say they drink only 4 times, that it's like double. I'm sure doctors know that. But yeah, I did. I would have my wine at night and it would be acceptable. And, but I would wake up feeling like trash. I coped a little bit with it because it was hard being a stay-at-home mom. And I did learn how to reel it in, I guess you could say, because I learned that whenever I drank when I was angry, upset, coping, or maybe even PMSing, it would amplify. Like my emotions would just get so much worse. I would be angrier. I wouldn't be able to control myself. I would be mean. And I would just feel like boo-boo.
So we've mentioned that Paige is what science terms a highly sensitive person. It's not like a cut down or anything. It's actually, it's a trait that she carries, an HSP. So you tend to be very introspective and very self-aware and very aware of what's going on around you.
Yes.
I can only speak for myself from the other side of this and say that, I guess, at what point do you look at your life and say, okay, this is a problem, I need to reel it back in? Does that just come with being an adult for you? Like, where does that come from? I'm asking genuinely because I was not born with that rev.
Yeah, it's definitely just being an adult. Like, you should know better. If you know that something is affecting you, you need to just put a stop to it. Why would you continually keep doing something that is harming you?
And you were then
mentally and physically.
And then in turn, you were able to stop. You would be like, okay, this is getting a little out of hand. I need to cut back. And you would just be able to cut back.
Yes.
Whenever you cut back, did you notice that things got more difficult or did they get easier?
They would get a little difficult at first because I was so used to masking everything with the alcohol.
Yeah, it's like when someone takes a baby pacifier away.
Absolutely.
They're mad at first, but eventually things get better.
But the more you keep practicing and the more you stop you not doing it, you learn, oh my gosh, it's so much better without all that alcohol because you're able to process things so much more clearly.
Yeah. The greatest gift that I have gained from sobriety is the ability to process my emotions from the beginning all the way to the end, uninterrupted. And we've both dealt with mental health illness. And I think that, so we've got this fire burning inside of us. All of us do to a degree. And it's this, whatever our mental health issues may be, this depression, anxiety, overthinking, overanalytical, whatever it may be.
That me.
And and alcohol is like this fuel that burns this fire hotter and hotter and hotter.
Yes.
It feels in the moment like it's making it better. But what it really does is it just puts it on the back burner and it makes the pile bigger to deal with later.
Yep. Stunt your growth too.
Right. Stunt your growth. So arrested development was something that I didn't know that I was experiencing until I decided to get sober. And when I got sober at, I was old, 25 or 26.
Yep.
I was the same person when I sobered up at 25, 26 as when I started drinking at like
14,
19 years old or whenever I was a teenager. Like mentally, I was a teenager. Emotionally, I was a teenager. That was the extent I knew how to deal with problems, is about how a teenager does.
Yes.
I had a lot of ground to make up.
Right.
Like it arrested my development. I was not growing anymore because every time an emotion got uncomfortable, I knew how to make it go away.
You wanted to numb yourself.
Didn't like having to deal with that crap, man. It's just easier. And I've heard everyone at the office talking about, I went home and I had 3 or 4 cocktails, blah, blah, blah. And it's just what we do. It's just what we do.
I mean, there are times still where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I wish I could, pop a Valium right now. I wish I could do something to make these emotions go away. I think that's something that everybody wants. And it's acceptable these days to drink alcohol. Like, oh, you feel like boo-boo? Go have a glass of wine. You'll feel better.
It's nuts. It's like drinking is normalized, but drinking is also very dangerous. And the dangers of alcohol are not talked about very much, especially certainly from the people that are advertising it and paying millions of dollars for you to come buy their product. But it's sort of like become a, buyer beware kind of situation where it's like, you should know, you should read the small print. You should listen to the radio ads where they talk a mile a minute at the very end of it, right before it goes to the next commercial, like about the dangers. It's almost like how the drug companies do with their drugs, but it's very dangerous. And for people with mental health issues, it can be really, really dangerous because it's not only going to cause you alcohol problems, it's going to make whatever mental health issues you have even worse.
Yes.
So as we roll into the holidays, when mental health tends to break down, it's important to talk about our alcohol intake. So the holidays, gosh, it's no secret that they're stressful. It's extremely stressful time. It's not just because you've got to, plan 4 or 5 different gatherings and be 2 places at once, it seems like, on certain days. And
a lot of baking, a lot of cooking, a lot of kid activities, a lot of parties.
Shopping.
I mean, shopping, there's everything that goes into the holidays.
So much stress that's already on us. Okay, so couple that with the mental health issues that have been there all year long, and then let's just drink like crazy people on top of it. Tends to be why holidays for some can be extremely hectic and terrible time of the year. So I'll tell a quick story. I'd always assumed, like, I guess I knew I had a problem, a opiate problem for a long time, but alcohol was always something I felt like I could kind of take it or leave it. It was never that big of a deal for me until one Christmas. And I think it was,
you know what? This was not the Christmas before rehab. Never mind.
It was a Christmas before our daughter was born. Paige was pregnant. So I always thought there'd be some event in my life that kickstarted a life of sobriety. Like I didn't plan on drinking for the rest of my life. Or drinking the way I drank, like a college kid, drinking every day. I didn't plan on using drugs the rest of my life. Like no one sets out like I'm just going to ruin my life. Like it starts out pretty innocent in the beginning, and it kind of takes on a life of its own. At some point, we don't realize how bad it's gotten. So there was when Paige got pregnant, we had decided long before she was pregnant that when you get pregnant, you can't drink. So I'm going to do this with you. We're going to do this together. We had this pact that we had made. And I'll never forget, we were headed to your uncle's house for a Christmas, and she was pregnant, and I decided I was not going to drink. And I didn't drink the evening before. So all day long, I was pretty irritable. Couldn't really figure out why. Just maybe it's my job. Maybe it's just a day. I don't know. By that night, I was like miserable and like white knuckling everything. We were on the way over there. We fought the entire way over there. We had a fight in the street when we got there, like argument, yelling. And the whole time I was there, I was extremely uncomfortable. And it hit me like, holy crap, like I need a drink. And like, not just a little bit, like I need one just to get by. Like this is bad. Like I was white knuckling life. I was white knuckling everything around me. It was the first time in my life that I realized that I needed alcohol to just get by. And it scared the crap out of me. It really did. I had decided, all right, so this is a problem. I know what to do now. I'll just cut back. But at that point, it wasn't an option for me.
No.
The moment I tried to cut back, all this just got worse. I didn't know how to deal with life with something other than a substance. So for me, it turned into treatment, and it turned into, working through the 12 steps in AA. But we figured it out during the holidays. And I look back on those holidays. It was probably the darkest, one of the darkest, I wouldn't say to the E, but darkest, but one of the darkest holidays ever.
But it was dark.
It was really, really rough. You couldn't drink. Were you bothered?
No.
That's the difference,
I was never
guess.
bothered whenever I couldn't.
Yeah, and that's the difference. So there are some people that have already crossed this invisible line and they've become pickles without realizing it. There's some of us that are still cucumbers, and we've got a chance to remain cucumbers if we take action and we think about our alcohol intake. So especially moving into the holidays, that's why we've kind of brought this topic up, is how do you identify you have a problem? So the first step in identifying you have a problem is, why don't you try some controlled drinking and see how that goes? So Paige, when you tried controlled drinking, how does it usually go off? Like, let's say that today you're going to have 2 drinks. Is that a problem for you usually?
No.
So you can have 2 drinks and stop.
Right.
So for me, what that would usually look like is I would have 2, and then as soon as I get a buzz, I get this craving for more.
Yeah, it's the 3rd drink is usually when that happens, right? Isn't there like a Sia song or Sia song about that?
1, 2, 3 drink. 1, 2, 3 drink. Yeah. I think she was talking about the steps, but I'm not sure. We're not going to break down Sia's artistic abilities here. But for a lot of people, as soon as that buzz kicks in, one of 2 things will happen. A lot of people will say, "Ooh, I'm starting to feel funny. I don't really like this." There's another group of people that will say, "Ooh, that feels good. Give me more."
Yeah.
And I was the give me more type. And so I was never able to fully control how much I drank. Not to say that I was a blackout drinker every time I drank. In fact, I rarely ever did that.
No.
And I think I only blacked out one time just because I was mixing stuff, getting super turned. But just alcohol alone, no. But I would drink to excess, to the point where I was legally drunk and I couldn't drive a car. And that was pretty normal for me. So if you think you may have a problem, try some controlled drinking, and then listen to your mind, listen to your body, and see how you feel about it. If your body's screaming for more, that could be a sign that you have a problem. If it was like no big deal for you at all, and you just take it or leave it, you're probably in the clear here. But thing about alcoholism, it's very tough to diagnose. It's a self-diagnosis, which is the toughest part. Like another sign that you may have a problem is, has this ever been a fight for you in your marriage? Have you ever had a fight about how much you drink?
Oh, like if somebody pointed it out to you.
Yeah, like your spouse has pointed it out to you. Like
Right.
you and I don't think I've ever had to tell you you're drinking too much.
No, you just know if I'm like had a drink.
Oh yeah, like because today it's hilarious. I know when she's been drinking, because I'll just be minding my own business and like she'll just pick a fight, and I'm like, "Are you drinking or something? Like, what's going on?" And she'll just start laughing because she's like, "Yeah, I am." And it's like, "Yeah, I could tell because you're being ridiculous right now." But if you've had honest to goodness fights, like real fights,
Oh yeah.
emotional outbursts about drinking, there could be an issue there. I know that you had addressed with me several times that like, this is getting out of hand. You need to chill.
Right.
It had been a problem. Does drinking interfere with your goals? Do you have goals that you can never really seem to reach? If you think about your actions Monday through Friday, write down what you typically do, right? How are you spending your time? Make a log. If you are spending more than, if you're spending more than one day with time dedicated to drinking and sitting around and flipping through Facebook or social media, it could be a sign if it's interfering with your goals. So does it prevent you from living the life that you think you should always have lived, like your dreams? If it's getting to that point, it could be a problem.
Yeah, and like losing weight.
Or does it affect your weight loss goals? For a lot of people, they have these huge aspirational goals to get in shape and get fit. And then they're given a diet that doesn't include alcohol. And then suddenly they got a problem on their hands.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people reach out to me like, man, the diet's no big deal, but this alcohol thing, like, I don't think I could just like stop drinking. I don't know what to do at this point. Like it scares them. It scares them badly. Like I said, you don't realize you have a problem until you remove it. So try to remove it. I would challenge everybody. Don't pick your most difficult gathering this holiday season, but maybe pick one that you normally go pretty hard at and choose not to drink and see what happens.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Choose not to drink and see what happens.
Yeah.
Are you bothered internally? Is it really tough for you? This could be a sign that you maybe need to cut back and pay more attention to your intake. Mm-hmm. It's a good way to determine. Another thing I would do is stop drinking and see how your friends and family act about it. So we're pressured into this a lot. And being sober is not cool for a lot of people. Like if I had a buck for every time I was teased about not drinking, we wouldn't have to, run two companies to get by.
Right.
We wouldn't have to worry about anything. I would be very wealthy. People are like, what do you mean you're not drinking? That's crazy. Or your family gives you shit about it. Someone's going to give you grief about it. That could be a sign that your family in general looks at drinking in an unhealthy manner.
Right.
And we're not like the no fun crew. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I am very much at peace with the fact that I have lost the privilege for chemical peace of mind. And I'm fine with that. I've had more fun than all of you combined drinking. I've had a lifetime of drinking. I don't miss it ever. I don't miss it. There are other people that they're wondering, like, is this a big deal for me? Is this not? It's for you to determine, and only you can determine.
Right.
But as we get into the holidays, start to think about what this looks like for you. Is my alcohol intake a problem? Am I using it to cope through the holidays? Do I have an addiction that I wasn't even aware of? And when did it start? I guarantee you a lot of people are going to look back to early pandemic days when it was totally normal to sit at home and drink because there was nothing else going on. Mm-hmm. Bars and restaurants were closed and we just drank at home.
Yeah.
Tons of people did that.
Right.
Tons and tons of people did that. And there's been a whole onset of mental health issues that have been, amplified by this alcohol intake or drug intake or whatever your vice may be. Mm-hmm. But this is simply it's a chance to raise awareness and look at your intake. So is it affecting your goals? Is it affecting your relationships? Is it affecting your job? Is it affecting your fitness goals? Whatever it may be, is it in the way? Because I'm looking at this from an extreme perspective that I don't drink at all. I don't take any drugs. I don't do anything like that. It is not for me anymore. I can't think of any positives when it comes to putting alcohol in your body. That may be an extreme perspective, but really think about it. What benefit is it providing you? Because I can do anything I used to do. I'm still the life of the party. I'm still funny. I'm still great to be around.
It wasn't like that forever though. Like it took you a few practices to actually get back to normal.
Early on, you have to remember how to walk again.
Right.
But once you do, I realized that I never needed it to begin with. I just didn't want to process emotion.
And your memory is better. Like you'll remember things so much more.
Everything got better for me when I decided to remove it from my life. It was easier to lose weight. It was easier to have relationships with people. It was easier to get up in the mornings and get to the office on time.
Yes.
Everything got better for me when I stopped. So then I look back at why I drank. Why did I drink? It's because everyone else did it, I guess. I don't know. It's like just what you do.
It's just what you do.
Just what you do.
Exactly.
But why is that what we do? Why don't we go for hikes? Why don't we exercise? Why don't we have great conversations? Why don't we read more?
Right.
People are going to turn this off at this point because a lot of people think this is blasphemy, but think about it.
Okay, but I'm thinking about myself because I do still drink and I drink once a week. I give myself once a week to have alcohol. And that is just to loosen up and, kind of get away from reality for just a little bit. But I have the privilege to do that because I did not, almost ruin my marriage or my family over, my intake. So it is different for people. Just like going into the holidays, I'm going to look at it as I'm going to drink on Thanksgiving. I'm not going to drink the night before Thanksgiving or the day after Thanksgiving and turn it into a whole weekend of binge drinking. I'm not going to do that. I give myself just one time a week to do that. So in the holidays, we can give ourselves the celebrations to drink, and it's not to get sloshed, and it's just to, fellowship, like you said earlier when we started the podcast.
Yeah, I think back on all the Christmases or the Thanksgivings or the 4th of Julys or New Year's that I made off-color comments or said things I shouldn't have or had awkward encounters, and it's cringy to look back and think about it. The best part about not drinking is I don't ever have to worry about that anymore.
So true.
I remember everything I said. I'm present for every moment, and I've had the best holidays since I decided to remove it than I ever did when I was using it.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of people too, it's like they had a holiday that was great and they try to recreate it through alcohol as well. You
Absolutely.
know, 'cause there are some really fun times when we're drinking. Don't get me wrong. Like,
Especially in our
I had
young
fun,
20s, you know, like that was fun.
the early days.
Yeah. You had a blast during Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff.
Yeah. But for so many other people, like either this is you or you have a family member that makes an ass of themselves every holiday season because alcohol has just been taken too far.
Right.
You know, so consider what it means for you. Look at your own life and be self-aware. That's what we do. We challenge popular thought as we talk on this podcast, and we challenge our own thoughts. We challenge where we're at and how could we get better. So, you know, if you're curious, if you may have a problem, you can also reach out to me.
Right.
I make myself available to anyone that feels like they could have an issue and they're not really sure what it looks like, or if they have a loved one that has an issue. That's the reason I tell my story so openly, is because it's my duty at this point to help other people, because there were people that were there for me, you know, when I was fresh in this. So it's crucially important to really take a look at where you're at and what your drinking looks like. So we suggest remove it entirely for at least a gathering to see how you feel, or cut back a little bit. I know for me, Christmas morning, I would have a drink with my coffee.
Yep.
I would drink throughout the entire day. And those are moments that I want to remember. I want to remember that stuff. I don't want to remember bits and pieces, or that I was just buzzed, you know, or that I was sick to my stomach and spinning in bed at the end of the night. I want to be present for it.
Yeah.
You know, that's what life's about. So that's what we've got. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, leave us a review. The reviews help us kind of monitor where we're at in providing you content. And they also help other people who are really in need of something like this find it. If you've got like-minded friends you think would like this, please send them a message, recommend it to them. You can check us out on our social media, Instagram at TWFO_couple. It's TUFO_couple. On Facebook at TUFO couple. We've got an awesome website, www.tufocouple.com. We've got some inspirational and entertaining content on there. It's a blog of sorts. We look forward to growing with you. We look forward to the holiday season coming up and dropping some new awesome episodes for you guys. So I am Matt.
I'm Paige.
Until next time.
Bye.